Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures continued, issue number 18 from IDW. This is Mystery at the Museum, part 2. That's a wrap for Ptah. So in the last issue, Donnie and Raph got into a fight. Raph got grounded. Donnie and his brothers and Splinter, besides Raphael obviously, went to go enjoy some pizza. Raphael got a call from Mona Lisa that there's trouble at the museum. They show up and they meet this mummy named Bakari. Bakari basically explains that there's this ancient Egyptian who believed he was a scientist, and he basically had this device that kind of turned him into this weird lizard brain creature named Ptah. And Ptah was trapped inside this device, but now he's been unleashed and he has this staff that allows him to use powers and things. That's kind of like the basic gist of it. You can go watch my last video on this series if you want more in depth. So we start off with the brothers showing home, and they have no idea where Raph is. They have a note that Mona Lisa needed help and that they're at a museum, but they have no idea which museum. So they decide to go investigate and try to find their brother. Meanwhile, at the museum, Ptah is freed, and he basically mentions that the device that trapped him can no longer trap him again. Made sure of that, and he pulls out this wand, this scepter, that will be used for him to control the world in a sense. So he uses it first to blast a hole in the museum wall, and he starts running away. And Raph and his group start chasing after him when Bakari mentions that the staff is able to animate them, give them life in a sense. So basically, he uses the staff to turn on the dinosaur bones and make them alive. So the dinosaurs start attacking Raphael and his group. And then we have a little thing with Shredder, but I'm going to be skipping that. Eventually, they realize, hey, if we stay here, museum, he's just going to use that staff to constantly turn all of the attractions alive. Right? He's just going to use it to reanimate all of them. And it's also going to cause a bunch of destruction for the museum. Like we're going to be destroying a bunch of ancient artifacts and things like that. So let's try to lure him outside where there will be less things, hopefully, for him to be able to transform. And so they trick him into getting outside. And then that's when we cut to the rest of the turtles who are flying in their blimp. And as a kid, like I liked the blimp. I thought it was always like it was cool. But I always questioned why the blimp. They're supposed to be ninjas. They're supposed to be undercover. And yet they have a giant orange blimp that says turtles on the side of it. You would think maybe have something that's a little less noticeable. Also, another thing that I always found funny was the fact that there's 4 of them, and yet the little glider that's attached to the blimp only has 1 seat. And so the other turtle bros always have to just like hang on to the wing and stuff like that. You would think, like, hey, maybe we can just create 3 more seats so all 4 of us can sit down when we're flying. Better yet, why not have like an actual cockpit and maybe erase the whole turtles from the side of the blimp? That way, like, people who are looking up, they'll just think, oh, this is just a regular blimp, instead of looking up and seeing 4 turtles flying in it. Maybe make it so it'd be harder for them to see rather than just having the turtles being completely exposed. But yeah, they see basically the ruckus that Raphael and Mona Lisa are causing, so they detach from the blimp, fly down on the glider. I always thought that was cool though. Like as a kid, I always thought that the idea of the glider basically being like detached from the blimp and it turns into like a gliding machine, like that was awesome. So yeah, we have a battle where Raphael and Mona Lisa and Bakari are fighting against like a saber tooth and some dinosaur bones and a woolly mammoth. And eventually Donatello and the rest of the group show up and they attack Bakari at first. Raphael has to basically point out, like, hey, no, like that's our friend. And that's when Ptah shows up. And Ptah uses his scepter to turn the glider. Like he reanimates the glider and turns it into a monster that starts attacking Donatello. And that's when Raph throws one of his sai at Ptah, hits him in the head, and then him and Mona rush into the woods, to the trees, the park, basically. And so Ptah gets upset and he chases after them. Raph reveals a trick that he has, which is ventriloquism. He's able to throw his voice. So he basically throws his voice all over the place. And Ptah starts like zapping with his scepter everywhere. And eventually Raphael pops out. Ptah's like, you know, you should have stayed hidden. You could have kept on fooling me until I had run low on my power, but now you revealed yourself and I'm going to be able to stop you. And Raph is like, didn't you forget, buddy? Like, you were chasing two of us. And that's when Mona drops from the trees and knocks the scepter away. And Raph uses the scepter to bind up Ptah, and the day is saved. Raph and Mona have stopped Ptah, and they're going to throw him in prison. Meanwhile, Raph gives the scepter to Donatello to run some tests on it. And Bakari reveals, like, hey, like, the device that Ptah had that the museum was going to showcase, it's destroyed. Like, I made sure to destroy it just in case. But instead, how about I become the attraction? So now at the museum, there's Bakari, the living mummy. And basically the head of the museum of, like, the Egyptian wing is like a citizen of ancient Egypt preserved by a science we don't yet understand was discovered. And he loves to talk. I don't know. Weird how this universe just takes the fact that here's this talking mummy that's nothing but bandages, cracking jokes, and they're totally fine with it. This is just a completely normal thing. And then we cut to a penitentiary where we have Ptah complaining about the turtles. And then the Rat King is like, hey, so you hate the turtles, huh? I think we're going to be good friends. And you know what would be cool? Like, as I was reading this part, I just was thinking, like, how awesome would it be to have, like, a Batman Arkham Asylum-like game, but with the turtles? And, like, they go to, like, the jail where they have all of their villains. Like, just completely rip off that storyline. But no, like, it just reminds me of the fact that, like, I always thought it would be cool if Rocksteady had created a Ninja Turtles game in the style of Batman. And make it, like, dark and gritty. Like, not super, like, overly dark and gritty, but match the tone of the Mirage comics, the OG Mirage. Like, how awesome would that be? Like, instead of adapting, like, the kid-friendly version of the Turtles, as much as I love the kid-friendly Turtles, adapt the OG Mirage and capture some of that, like, gritty violence and make a Arkham-like game with the Turtles. Like, that would be so cool. I would absolutely love that. But, yeah, that has nothing to do with this comic. This comic was fine. I liked it. I mean, I thought that they defeated Ptah pretty easily, but then again, I'm, like, putting this into the mindset of, Pirate, pretend you're watching this as an episode. And it's like, yeah, okay, this makes more sense. Like, I mean, this is based off of the cartoon series. So obviously the cartoon series it's more kid friendly. It's more like, you know, you have your Saturday morning villains type of cliche, and they never like really get a win. Most of the times, like, you have the heroes, they fight the villain, they might lose the first time, and then they learn something to overcome the villains. This is just we straight up, we just curb stomped this guy, kind of. It was fine. I enjoyed it. Like, I basically put myself into like a child mindset. Like, I'm just like, pretend you're a kid back in the day watching an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on TV when you read this comic. And that's like the best mindset for it. So don't expect like anything great. Just expect some, you know, kid-friendly violence, dad jokes, puns, that kind of stuff. Your classic cliche Saturday morning villain trying to take over the world kind of, you know, shtick. And that's pretty much what you get with this series. So yeah, there you go. I liked it. I thought it was fun. It was entertaining, at least. Like, I wasn't bored reading it or anything like that. So there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures Continued, issue number 18 from IDW. I liked it. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.